بجمالك علمت الإحسان، يا من نورت قلوبنا بالقرآن، يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله. يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء، يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس، يا من ألفت قلوبا بالإسلام، يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله. بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي، صلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي حبيبي يا محمد، أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد حبيبي يا محمد، يا رحمة العالمين يا محمد، يا من حليت حياتنا بالإيمان، يا من بجمالك علمت الإحسان، يا من نورت قلوبنا بالقرآن، يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله. يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء، يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس، يا من ألفت قلوبا بالإسلام، يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله. بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي، صلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي حبيبي يا محمد، أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد حبيبي يا محمد، يا رحمة العالمين يا محمد، يا من حليت حياتنا بالإيمان، يا من بجمالك علمت الإحسان، يا من نورت قلوبنا بالقرآن، يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله. يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء، يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس، يا من ألفت قلوبا بالإسلام، يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله. بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي، صلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي حبيبي يا محمد، أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد حبيبي يا محمد، يا رحمة العالمين يا محمد، يا من حليت حياتنا بالإيمان، يا من بجمالك علمت الإحسان، يا من نورت قلوبنا بالقرآن، يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله. يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء، يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس، يا من ألفت قلوبا بالإسلام، يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله. بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي، صلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي حبيبي يا محمد، أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد بالإيمان يا من بجمالك علمت الإحسان يا من نورت قلوبنا بالقرآن يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله يا من صليت بكل الأنبياء يا من في قلبك رحمة للناس يا من ألفت قلوبا بالإسلام يا حبيبي يا شفيعي يا رسول الله بأمي وأبي فديتك سيدي صلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد حبيبي يا محمد يا رحمة العالمين يا محمد
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Just to sound check, everyone can listen to my voice clearly.
Yes, clear.
Okay. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, we'll be starting our program for this morning. But just remain as mute so that we will not be interrupting the program. Honorable Assistant Prof. Dr. Saiful Ihsan Salihin, the Head of Islamization of Human Knowledge, Honorable Prof. Dr. Aminuddin bin Cik Ahmad, Head of Sharia Compliance Department, Sultan Ahmad Shah Medical Center, Honorable Datuk Hamidun bin Abdul Hamid, Head of Center for Islamization, Centris, Honorable Assistant Prof. Dr. Hasbullah bin Muhammad, Deputy of Centris, Kuantan, Honorable Lecturers, brothers and sisters, welcome to Islamic Input in Medical Practice. أحييكم بتحية الإسلام تحية أهل الجنة تحية طيبة مباركة من عند الله أقول لكم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. For information, Islamization of human knowledge is a niche to IIUM. Beginning 2022, IOSK have arranged IIMP or Islamic Input in Medical Practice for the postgraduate student in a comprehensive workshop. For the postgraduate student batch beginning 2021, this course is considered compulsory and is advised to be completed during their first or second year. Briefly, the objective listed for this course is first, to incorporate Islamic review knowledge and medicine in a positive manner. Second, to produce a holistic professional and scholars by integrating faith, knowledge, and good characters in daily activities toward comprehensive and sustainable development. And third, to foster the moral and ethical values among IIUM academic staff and students, particularly in medicine. Inshallah, for today, I would like to just inform briefly about what we'll be having this morning. Later, we'll have an opening speech by the head of IOSK. Then we have a lecture about 1 hour from Datuk Hamidun about principle of Tawheed in practice. Next, we have another 1 hour lecture from Ustaz Abdul Rahman bin Al-Azmi about overview of Fiqh Al-Ibaadah in medicine. Then we have a short break, about 50 minutes. Then we'll be followed with lectures by Assistant Prof. Dr. Hasbullah bin Muhammad about principle of Muamalah in daily practice. And then before we end our morning session, we'll have a lecture by Prof. Dr. Aminuddin bin Cik Ahmad about professionalism as a medical specialist from Islamic perspective. To bless our meeting for today, I would like to invite Assistant Prof. Dr. Iqbal Munawir bin Abdul Rashid to recite dua. فليتفضل.
الفاتحة.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وإليك يعود السلام فهينا ربنا بالسلام يا سالم سلمنا أجمعين واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين. We express our gratitude to you for allowing us to attend the 1.5-day Kulliyyah of Medicine Clinical Postgraduate in Islamic Input in Medical Practice Seminar 2023. Ya Allah, we ask you for the safety of our religion and the welfare of our body. O Allah, Lord of the implementing authority, make the days that we have gone through, starting with your mercy, continue with your blessings, and ended with thy forgiveness. And also make the days that we have gone through with guidance and end with the victory of excellence. Ya Allah, Ya Muhaimin, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar. Let our effort as a mean to enlighten and convince ourselves that the personal safety of either outer or inner is a prerequisite for achieving happiness and excellence in various fields. O Allah, grant us faith and strength in order to face the challenges of life during the transition period and in the phase of life and in this new millennium. Ya Allah, Ya Farij al-Ham, wa Ya Kashif al-Gham. Ya Allah, show us guidance and adjust our path and ways to achieve happiness and glory. Let us listen to people who like the good things. Let us avoid doing the bad and evil things. O Allah, bless our life in this meeting and gathering and prevent us from harm and unfortunate event. اللهم اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل اللهم فينا ولا معنا ولا من يتبعنا شكيا ولا مترودا ولا محروما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin, Amin, Amin. Thank you, Dr. Iqbal, for the dua recitation. Without further delay, we'd like to invite Assistant Prof. Dr. Saiful Ihsan Salihin, Head of Islamization of Human Knowledge, Kulliyyah of Medicine, to give his opening speech and also to officiate this program. فليتفضل مشكورا.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ifan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all invited speakers, Dato', professors, colleagues, and our beloved clinical postgraduates. Thank you very much to all for allocating your time in attending this seminar, even though I know that every one of us are very busy with our daily schedules and tasks. Before that, I would like to pass salam from our Dean as well as Postgraduate Deputy Dean. They are apologize for unable to join us this morning, but nevertheless, they are very happy that we can conduct this event again this year. And therefore, deep from my heart, I would like to thank all for joining this annual event. Especially, I would like to thank to all speakers, Dr. Hamidun bin Abdul Hamid, Head of Scientists of IIMP Kuantan. And Dr. actually has helped us a lot in improving our IIMP program in MBBS recently, early this year. He has reviewed the topic and helped me a lot. He has a very good knowledge in Islamic worldview, ethics, and Fiqh. And it's always an honor to receive his help from despite his busy time. Next speaker is Ustaz Abdul Rahman Al-Azmi. I would like to thank you very much, Ustaz, for helping us. Ustaz from Sharia Compliance Department SASMAC. He's our main speaker since last year and actively involved in Islamization topics and awareness in Kulliyyah of Medicine as well as SASMAC, especially in Fiqh Al-Ibaadah. Next speaker, Dr. Asbullah, my lecturer during my postgrad in Islamic Studies. I'm always feel amazed with your various knowledge, including hadith and narrations during our studies. And not to forget my role model in Islamization, Prof. Hamiduddin, also my ex-lecturer during my undergrad and postgrad, is our role model to be a true Muslim professional in academic and medical field. Expert panels, Prof. Abdul Razak, my lecturer as well during my postgrad in Islamic Studies, and my partner in crime as a regular invited speaker in our ICPC program every 2 months. It's really helpful, detailed, but precise in its explanation. Prof. Ibrahim Shoga, our lecturer as well in Postgraduate Islamic Studies. He's also our regular invited reviewer for our Postgrad IIMP presentation and reviewer since before. His topic on Islamization on self in our core-centric structure is really important for us. Dr. Osman Jaafar, thank you for joining. Dr. Osman is our regular speaker as well for ICPC in Kulliyyah of Medicine. And last but not least, my ex-lecturer while my undergrad, Prof. Dr. Nazri, important person in research, one of the members of Syarah Committee in SASMEC. Kulliyyah of Medicine IIMP program for clinical postgraduates is unique, in which this is the only kuliah in Kuantan whereby the HK program is separated on its own in order to accommodate the medical curriculum and requirements for our clinical postgraduates, whereby in other kuliahs, all are conducting the event combined for once. Therefore, it is challenging for us and the speakers as we need more time and we need more work to be done. But Alhamdulillah, I received good collaborative work from all, from my colleagues as well, from the kuliah, as well as from the students as well. Therefore, I would like to thank all members and all friends and all progress students for making this event to be successful. The objective of this seminar is in order to apply the knowledge that the students have learned from the series of recorded lectures and self-directed reading materials, especially to be applied to clinical practice. The 4 principles of modules, which include principles of Tawheed, principles of Muamalah, Fiqh Al-Ibaadah, and ethics and professionalism, are really important to all medical doctors. This can be the holistic approach in serving others, the community, and nation. And it is clear that our aim is not to Islamize people, no, but to incorporate the Islamic and ethical values in ourselves, so that we can be a person which are responsible, full of integrity, respectful, and trusted. This is in line with our SAF, Sejahtera Academic Framework, which has been pioneered by our university. There are 4 principles highlighted by SAF framework, which is empowerment, flexibility, innovation, and accountability. So in this 2-day program, students have been empowered to find the answers and present their opinion on the case scenarios or tasks that we have given before, I think about 2 months ago. And also they have been given flexibility to discuss and to present their thoughts based on the suggested references as well as guidance a little bit from the advisor. They also need to be innovative in order to apply the Islamic concepts into their daily practice and medical practice as in the scenarios. And therefore, this will inculcate responsibility among them in order to be truthful, ethical in any situation, either alone or in the teamwork. Therefore, I hope, despite the program still conducted online, the gist and the message still can be received and appreciated by all. Inshallah, when the time comes, we'll convert back the program into 2 face-to-face sessions, inshallah, probably next year. Without wasting time, I would like to thank all once again, and I would like to appreciate this event and wish everyone happy learning, happy seminar, and happy discussion to all. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to you, Mr. Irfan.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Saiful, for the opening speech and also the officiation. Before we proceed with our lectures for today, on behalf of the Islamization of Human Knowledge, we would like to invite all to watch a video prepared by the IOHK unit for this program. Hope you will enjoy.
You, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Mustafa ala Habibika Nabika Mustafa. You came to me in a time of despair. I called on you, you were there with love. What would my life be? Not know the unseen, the worlds between. For you I'd sacrifice, for you I'd give my life, anything. just to be with you. I feel so lost at times by all the hurt and lies. Now all I want is to be with you. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Mustafa ala habibika nabika Mustafa. Showed me right from wrong, told me to be strong. Need you more than ever, Ya Rasulullah. You came to me and out of me. Need you more than ever, Ya Rasulullah. You filled my heart with love, showed me the light above. Now all I want is to be with you. You are my one true love, taught me to never judge. Now all I want is to be with you. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Mustafa ala habibika nabika Mustafa. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Mustafa ala habibika nabika Mustafa. Be with you, you are my one true love, taught me to never judge. Now all I want is to be with you.
Thank you for the team who had prepared the video. So basically, for all the brothers and sisters, this is part of IOHK that we have tried to prepare to make it accessible and also available in terms of the knowledge and also reference for your practice in your medical field later. So inshallah, from your 4 years duration in postgraduate student, as a postgraduate student in IIUM, you will benefit and will take the knowledge from this IOHK program for your practice. Next, I would like to invite Datuk Hamidun bin Abdul Hamid to present the principle of Tawheed. For your information, Datuk Hamidun gained his Diploma of Education in Arabic and Islamic Education from Omdurman Islamic University, Sudan, Bachelor of Education from the same university, and also Master of Art in Teaching of Arabic as Foreign Language from Khartoum International Institute for Arabic Language. Datuk Hamidun is currently the Director of Center for Islamization Centuries in IIUM Gombak. He will be presenting within 1 hour. Inshallah, if there's time, we'll open a question and answer session, inshallah. فليتفضل Datuk.
Thank you very much, Brother Chairman, and Assalamu alaikum, everyone, fellow speakers, and also some of you might perhaps be on the level of my sons and daughters, and also brothers and sisters in Islam, and brothers and sisters in humanity. Greetings of peace. In Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah wa ala man wala. So after praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and giving peace and blessings upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I would like to begin the session, this IIMP seminar about begin with some of the paradigms that we should first realize. Number one, that we are a special creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless whether you believe in God or you believe in nature or the universe or now the multiverse as the creator and so on and so forth. So why did I say that? Number one, as far as those who believe in the scriptures, as far as Islam is concerned, the Quran mentioned that, and visually we have we have been what do you call it? We have been generous with the son of Adam, with the progenies of Adam. وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي Adam. We have been generous to the progenies of Adam. We have been superfluous, good to the progeny of Adam. وَحَمَلْنَاهُ فِي الْبَرِّ وَالْبَحْرِ. We have made them able to travel on the seas, on land, and now even on air. وَرَزَقْنَاهُ مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ. And we have given for his sustenance things that are good, طيبات, right? Not things that are bad. And the last, the statement here, Allah says that وَفَضَّلْنَاهُ عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِّمَّنْ خَلَقْنَا تَفْضِيلًا. And we have give preference for him, great preference over those sentients meaning those who have mind, those who have thoughts, those who can differentiate between good and bad. This sentience we have given human being, insan, as opposed to Homo sapiens. Later we'll go into that. Insan, the progeny Adam, great preference over the rest. And it is very, for sure, for the Muslim, you can tie it up with how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us from lowly mud, min hama'in, min salsalin, min hama'in masnun, min gooey clay that has been left for so long, hama'in masnun, and it smells. Yes, the smell. This is what we are, as far as our external vessel, our jasad is from. And however, from this, he has elevated us to the position that the most beloved among all the creation of Allah is this human being called Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as far as Adam is concerned, he gave him the knowledge, and he asked the angels to prostrate to Adam, you know, the prostration of respect. And Iblis didn't want to do it because Iblis has a superiority complex and said that he is from fire. Not only fire, but rather the corona of fire, which is very pure, and infrared heat. And he said he's superior because his creation is better than that, and forgot that it is Allah who gave preferences. It's Allah who gave position. So I want this lowly creation that I have created, and I have blown into him a spirit from my side, and I want you all to give respect to this Khalifa of us. So we, as a human being, are a preferred creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when you go into Scientology, and you go into scientism, quite a number of scientists who does not want to accept the biblical God as they say it, put in the words of Sir Patrick Moore, the royal astronomer, the late royal astronomer, Sir Patrick Moore, when he was asked, I think this was in the 60s or late 60s or 70s, when he was interviewed by BBC, and he was asked, what is science? He said, the search for truth. He said, then he was asked, do you mean what is this truth? He said that we are created. Then he was asked by God. He said, no, not the biblical God, but by the supreme intelligence that has created this whole existence. Isn't it that it comes out by accident? Okay, he said, no. Mathematically, it is impossible. If you have the coin to be tossed, you have 1:2, and you have the dice, it will be the binomial series of 1 multiplied by 2, multiplied by 3, multiplied by 4, multiplied by 5, multiplied by 6. Imagine of millions of elements and factors that make up the universe, maybe trillions, maybe more than that. And imagine the millions of things that is needed to come into being this human being. So even by mathematics, you'll go to the the impossibility, right? Because the possibility is infinite, he said in his word. So as far as some of the most society is concerned, they don't want to accept the scriptural God, but they say that the universe is intelligent, and since the universe is intelligent, it will facilitate in its natural laws the evolution of a sentient being that in the end will bear witness that the universe is intelligent. But later on now it's discovered that we are not only in universe, we are in multiverse. So does that mean the number of multiverse means the number of gods, or that mean parallel existence? This is into something else, right? But for us Muslims, we believe in the one God, right? The Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means we believe there is only one creator, and we believe there is only one master, and we believe there's only one sustainer. All right. So when we look at Allah, we look at him as having the attributes. And when I said attributes here, when I wrote Rabb and Ilah, it means the functional attributes. Because this has been a contention between those who study Aqidah or Tawheed. Some were saying, the traditional one was saying about the Sifat 20 or the 20 characteristics. But now people are discussing about the Rububiyyah and Uluhiyyah and of Sifat. So as far as Sifat is concerned, the two understanding has agreed upon that. As far as the Sifat is concerned, or the characteristics that we have in the traditional school, I would say those are the manifestation of his sifat, or his character, of his you know, the characters that he have. And so you have wujud, qidam, baqa, muqallabah, all these things, this 20 thing, and there is the part of subutiyah and also you know, presenting it, declaring it. And here in terms of Rabb Ilah, I understood it as the functional aspect of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah performed the function as a Rabb, right? Allah performed as a Rabb and as Ilah. So he is the, as we see in the ayat, he is the Lord, he is Allah in the sama, in the earth, in the heavens, and also he is Allah on earth, and he knows whatever you acquired. So Rabb means here the absolute creator, the absolute master. So that's why we say Rabbil Alameen, right? Master, Lord of the whole creations, right? And the Arabs formerly used to say Rabbul Kaaba, the Lord of this Kaaba, right? But when they say Rabb as Ilah, as the master who has the will, absolute will, and most able. Will meaning he wants something to be done. Will meaning he has rules and regulation that he wants to tell you to follow. So this is also, this is the part where they call Ilah. And basically, if Rabb is the one, the master of everything, Ilah is the one that gives the rules and regulation and the laws. This is the characteristic of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Tawheed is in that absolute will is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Absolute creator is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Absolute sustainer is still Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You might get your money, your salary from the machine, but the machine is not your sustainer. You might go and find food, buy food, and then you said you are the master because you can buy. No, you might not even have, you know, the opportunity to put that food in your mouth. You might get a heart attack at the instant you bring the food up to your mouth. So that's the real sustainer is always Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he says his will, which is absolute, and he is most able over all things. Then because of this will, he has done that we have the qada and qadar, and then understanding upon it, sabab and musabbib, the reason and the one that controls the reason. Then I would like to go a bit into human faculties. I look into free will and ikhtiyar, or making a choice. and then I will end with stress and the function of Iman. Can we go to the next slide, please? So these are the contents that we're going to go through first, inshallah. The next slide, please. All right. This one I've mentioned just now, that we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the concept of Tawheed, the one Lord in heavens, the one true God in heavens and also on earth. And he knows whatever you do. Can we go to the next one? Okay. The absolute will and power we see in Al-Hadith, iron, right? The chapter on iron. This is very interesting because Allah mentioned in the Quran that وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدِ, and in it is good and bad, and in it also you took it as to be a protection from danger and from things. That means you have what they call it, you make into chain mail, you make into protective clothing using iron, you make into weapons and so on and so on. But Allah mentioned in Hadith that this iron, I have sent it down from the heavens. So the element iron is not a product of earth. It comes down with the meteorites. So this has been also been proven by the scientists now. So to him belongs the kingdom of heavens and earth. So everything is to him. He gives life and causes death. You know, you're not sure, then you try to, you know, prevent yourself prevent yourself from tasting death. No one can do it. Everyone died, right? Even the prophets died, right? And he is most capable over everything, absolute power, will. For the sky, he raised it high. Samawat wa wadu al-mizan, right? Then he put down the mizan, the balance of justice. So this balance has also the connotation that the ayah, the another way Allah says, Allah said that kulla shay'in khalaqnahu biqadarin, that all things we have created in exact measurement, in its measurement. So the mizan, that is the mizan of natural laws that we have in our cosmos, and also the mizan after that, if that is the mizan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rabbul Alameen, the creator, Rabbul La ilaha illallah, this is the mizan that I send down, right? The Quran. So this is the وَأَقِيمُ الْوَزْنَ بِالْقِسْطِ وَلَا تُخْسِرُ الْمِيزَانِ. And based on that mizan, based on that balance of justice, set it up, establish it, that you will not go astray from this balance. That is the deen of Islam. Right, can we go to the next one? Right, for qada and qadar. In the Quran, a lot of things has been mentioned in the ayat, and Rasulullah SAW has summed it up in the hadith of Islam and Iman and Ihsan, towards the end, that when Jibril asked him to answer the question, what are the signs? What is Iman? And tu'mina billah, that you must believe in Allah, wa malaikatihi, and His angels, wa kutubihi, right, wa rusulihi, the books and the messengers, and wal yawmil akhir, and the day of judgment, right? Wa in ataf, one after another. Then it's mentioned again specifically, wa an tu'mina bil qadari, you must also believe in the qadar, in the destiny that Allah has set down, right? Whether it's good or whether it's bad. So qada means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has make it written for you, your destiny, and qadar means He will make it happen because He has the power to do it. So the will, the destiny, and the power to do it. So as we know, Allah the Creator, Allah the one who gives the Sharia, rules and order, Allah is the one is also the one God, the one and only God that will be with you in life, right? With you in life and have set down what is to be your destiny and even what you're going to do, even what you say, even what you do, even what you act out to be, even your relation with others. And so this is all been set down, as we know, in the book of Lawhul Mahfuz. So the qadar and qadar, you cannot run away from it. It is there. All right. Now we will go. The question arises in our mind now. Then what is the function of our own effort, and so on and so forth? Right. Can we go to the next slide? Okay. This is where is it, right? With the qadar, what has been set down and what has been in, what should be in our effort. In Surah Al-Shams, right? وَالْأَرْضَ وَضُعَهَا لِلْأَنَامِ وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا وَالسَّمَاءِ وَبَنَاهَا وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا طَحَاهَا. And this is the ayat. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. And by the soul and the one who have fashioned it. وَنَفْسٍ, Allah is swearing in this surah that وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا, and by the soul. So this is the thing that we're going to call insan, as opposed to the science that is Homo sapiens, meaning man, the wise man. And now Yasser Harari, the Israeli Jewish philosopher, has written 2 books, right? History of Man, Homo sapiens, and the history of man, Homo Deus. So he was proposing that in the coming future, with AI and the capabilities of science and technology, the advancement would enhance the capability of the Homo sapiens. Imagine when you are connected through AI direct to the, just by using this cap like I'm wearing with its interface terminals, so it can read my brain wave and there interpret what I want. I can just think about getting to be in this seminar, then I will be there, right? If I want, I can have an internal holograph inside my mind, right? To see a screen if I need to see a screen. So here he says the capability of man, Harari said, that will be so greatly enhanced that almost akin to the angels and the powers of the prophets and the power of God mentioned in the scriptures. This is the proposal, or this is the tanabu or the prophecy that is going to say. So, but for Islam, for us in our understanding, there is the Lord, there is the one God, and He has created among His special beings of creation, insan, right? Insan. So this insan, He has created, He has fashioned the body, the physique of which, right? Then it is there in the shape, the best of form. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We have created insan in the best of form. But then that ayah, or we have created insan in the best of form, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ سَافِلِينَ. Then we return him to the lowest of the low. The form does not change, but what was the lowest of the low? That was a handsome man before, he's still a handsome man. Then he starts killing people. He starts so and so, like you said, that like Hitler, Adolf Hitler, is a handsome guy, very powerful, very macho, very masculine. Then he starts killing people, gassing people. Then you said this is the worst of human being. The best of form, but written. So here it means the worst of human being, it is the effective, the effective aspect. It is the spiritual aspect. So when you say insan, we understood that there must be soul. Insan has a soul. So that is why when you say Homo sapiens, scientists will say Homo sapien, they only discuss about the materialistic aspect, the body, right? And then the physical, the physiological, the different systems in the body and so on that can be tackled by the instruments and so on and so forth that can be detected. However, even science now is going into research on death, and there have been writings about how even after clinical death, there are still beta wave coming out of the corpse, and now they are researching into whether is there consciousness even after death. So now, if there is consciousness after death and it can be proven, then there must be life after death. There must be an existence after death. So as far as we're concerned, going back to our Quran, we know that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala created human being in the physical form, the best of form, and gave him the soul. Right? He is the one who fashioned it. Then with the knowledge, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. And he inspired him, the knowledge of right and the knowledge of wrong. Right? Why he says here the knowledge? That he inspired to do right and to do wrong. It doesn't go to do right, to do wrong. It inspired it with the knowledge of right and wrong, because قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. That successful indeed is the one who purified his soul, right? And doom is the one who corrupts it. So in the end, it is this insan that is going to make the decision with the knowledge that Allah has given him. Is he going to do good and purify his soul, or is he going to do corrupts his soul by doing sins and so on and so forth? Right. So up to this point, we know Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala created, and He is the final authority on what is going to happen. However, He has given insan the choice, right, to pick even to become Muslim or not to become Muslim. That's your choice. You cannot say that I don't want to become Muslim, then straight away a lightning will come and zap you. Or you want to say that I want to become a Muslim, then another lightning comes and zap you. No. No one can force you into that. Even in Islam, the principle, La ikraha fid din. There is no compulsion in religion. Right? The choice is given to you by the Lord who created you. So here we have the choice to do what action we want. So I think here we have it, right? Go to the next one, please. So let's start. That's why I want to discuss insan and Homo sapiens, right? Since the choice is in the end, we have to do it. It is being given to us by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, right? To live in this world according to how we think is good, understanding the mizan, the rules, the qadar, the measurement that Allah has put in the natural world, in this cosmos, right? This is how we move in the life, the short life given to us, right? To live in this world. And as far as we are concerned, this is only the second part of the journey. The first part was in the womb of our mother. Then after a certain weeks, only when it breathes, when the soul is being blown into it, we are a complete, we have the complete makeup. It just needs to be nurtured and grown when we come out of the womb, right? So what faculties do we have? What are the bestowments of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala upon us? That in the end, He gave us that choice. He must give us the tools in order to understand, in order to work on our choices, right? Then only will it be fair that He has the power of reward and the power of punishment in the end. So the first life is in the womb. Now we are in the second life of about 0 to 70 to 80, perhaps 90 years old, right? But then there is the eternity of the hereafter. The first one is after death. We don't know how many eons is going to be, because the Armageddon, or the end of the world, is not here yet. Then after the end of the world, you're going to have the waiting, right? In the mahshar. Then you have the hisab. Then you have crossing the sirat, and then will be the internal life of the doom or the internal life of one who are rewarded with paradise. Okay, the faculties bestowment according to Ghazali. I'm not picking from the Western sources. I'm picking from the primary sources, our Islamic philosophers. He mentioned that Allah gave us the jasad. And just for your information, in Arabic, there is the difference between jasad and jisim, right? So jasad is just an empty shell. Jasadun lahu khawar, as mentioned in the Quran, that Samiri Samiri requested those who work the metals of gold and so on to create a cow, to create the shape of a cow to be their idol, to be worshipped. And in that shape, he had passages where air comes in, and when the air blows, then the cow will make a sound. The idol will make a sound. Because the Quran term it as the jasad, a body, lahu khuwar, a jasad that have what do you call it, space, that have empty space inside it. But when a living being is going to be called a jisim, right? So when a jasad has soul in it, then it's called a jisim. So we have the jasad, our physical thing, and all these bestowments we're going to answer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the faculties that have bestowed upon us. What have we done with it? So jasad, you have to take care of it. You're going to ask yourself, you know, at 40, you cannot do the 10 kilometer jogging anymore. Something wrong. Why? You must know why. You must take care of it, and you must, if you are sick, you have maladies, you have to go and do find the treatment for it. But if you let your body to go out of sync, you don't have the stamina anymore because you keep eating and eating, you don't take care of it, then you're going to answer for this. So your body has also its right upon you, and you'll be answering to Allah about this. The second bestowment is your mind, the cognitive aspect, your brain, your mind. All right. And this is one part of cognition, to understand, to be critical about it, to analyze and be critical about it, to make new to make connections between the dots, and you have new ideas, innovation, this sort of thing. This is the mind, to understand the world surrounding you, to understand yourself, right? And to understand the science of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his creation, so that in the end you recognize. So this is mentioned in the verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sanurihim ayatina fil afaq wa fi anfusihim hatta yatabayyana anul haq. We will surely show our signs in the horizons, right? Fil afaq wa fi anfusihim, and in themselves. Hatta yatabayyana, until it is clearly, repetitively proven, clearly, with evidences that he is the truth. So he here refers to Allah, or in another version, to the Quran itself. Okay, so that is the akal, to be used to look at all what is surrounding you, to look at these signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, S-I-G-N-S. And science, S-C-I-E-N-C-E, we understood now as the quest, the knowledge about these signs, S-I-G-N-S, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah has give you as well the qalb. You understood things, you know this is good, you know this is bad, still you do the bad things. What is happening, right? You know this is, yes, this is a solution, but you don't have the conviction that is it the true solution. You need another faculty that will complete what is called absolute conviction, absolute cognition. You need the akal, the mind, and you need the heart, right? The heart. Of course, independent of the Western knowledge, it was only recently they are now going to, they are now researching on the thinking heart, or answer the question, can our heart think? And what does it mean by think? And in the book about this, it was mentioning about that they have discovered about 40,000 cells in the heart functioning the role of thinking, almost similar, but a bit different. So instead of calling them neurons, they carry some messages from one synapse to another synapse. They call them the neurites. So this is what they have now, and they're quite new, and they're still researching about this. And of course, we find also two camps: the camp that say that this whole thing is rubbish, and then the camp that say that you have to be, if you're a scientist, then you have to have the amana, you have to be trustworthy enough to stick to the principle of science, that what is not there does not mean it's not there. What cannot be proven does not mean it does not exist. Right? Okay, so that's the qalb. Then the nafs. Nafs here in the Western psychological aspect, you might understand it as the affective part of it. Right? The affective part of it. This is the realm of the lust and passion, the realm of anger, and so on and so forth. And if you read Al-Ghazali, the sight for nafs is basically like a cloud surrounding the qalb. So you have the akal saying it's good, but then your heart is not conviction. It's not doesn't have conviction about it, no yaqeen in it, because sometimes you are cluttered with the nafs, with the cloud of things surrounding the heart. So you are still keep questioning, and so on and so forth, right? And that will not translate into action. Okay, then the end you have the ruh, your soul itself, that makes you insan. So ruh, insan, is not much. Allah mentioned in the Quran that yas'alunaka anir ruh qul ruh min amri rabbi wa ma utitu min al-ilmi illa qalila. They ask you about the soul. Tell them, O Muhammad, that it is from the affairs of my Lord, and they know nothing about it except very little. But there is this little that we need to know as well, that very little that we can know, inshallah. So these 5 faculties will bind together. The jasad, the physic is needed in order to do the action. The akal to see where is the right action. The qalb for the conviction to have to move you. So if you are convinced that Surah Al-Subh is very important, it is an obligation, and the best form would be to do it at the mosque in Jama'ah, then you will wake up. Although it's cold, although it's hot, although it's still dark, you will wake up to do it because of that conviction. But if not conviction, then your akal said that this is good and so on and so on, but it doesn't become action because your heart is not convinced enough about it. So this is basically what we have for us. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one and only God, and the manifestation of that one and only God is in our action, whereby we will be doing things according to His will and for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the faculties that has given us, we are also asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is part of ibadah, right? It's part of ibadah to do work in this world, to do good in this world. And brothers and sisters, I will tell you, I salute you that you are among those picked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are among those that has been given preference by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be doctors of the body. Al-Ghazali has said, as the scholars is the doctor of the mind, the akal, then doctors, tabib, are the doctors of the body. But as we know now, the multi-functional aspect that a doctor has to do, look after the body, knowing the system in the body, look after the mental health of the person, the akal, and now perhaps another one you want to go in now, look after the spiritual aspect. They combine the akal, the qalb, and also nafs and ruh, the 4 things, right? So inshallah we go deeper in this. Go to the next slide, please. Okay, free will, the Prophet ﷺ said, as far as in terms of diseases and seeking treatment, right? The Prophet ﷺ said, seek treatment for any malady, for any disease. For Allah did not place a disease, did not put down, in another hadith says, does not send down a disease, except He will place for it the cure, except for one disease, old age. This is narrated by Tirmizi in his Sahih, and he said this is Hadith Hasan al-Sahih, and it's also narrated by Ibn Hibban in his book As-Sahih, and it has been pronounced Sahih by what they call it, Al-Hakim Nizaburi, right, and other ulama of Hadith. Seek treatment. So if you are sick, it is incumbent, it is wajib upon you to seek treatment. All right? So you have to take care of your body, you have to take care of your mind, you have to take care of your health. That is a wajib thing. So the free will, as I mentioned before, you have the free will to choose. All right? And to seek treatment, to find this thing, these are all your efforts, right? In order to fulfill this obligation mentioned by our Prophet. Right, the ikhtiyar. Ikhtiyar is basically the effort to find, the choice, right? To seek a treatment and to find. I was at Suspect yesterday, also trying to treat my malady of a skin. It comes after a certain age, perhaps before you don't have this. All right. Anyway, that is as we go up to now, we have Allah, the one and only creator. Number two, Allah, the one and only creator, shows His signs in the horizon, has set down His natural laws, has set down His mizan, the balance, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the capabilities, the faculties to understand what is surrounding us and to see what is behind this thing and see the hands of the creator, right? So now it is our effort incumbent upon us to find all these things, and especially when you are sick, to find treatment for it. And when you are treating others, that's why you are special beings, my doctors. You're all special beings. You are going to treat or trying to treat this, what do you call it, this super complex being, right? That has these different faculties, right? Is connected to one another, right? The body does not move unless the mind says it to move, and the mind can know what is the objective and so on and so on. But if the heart is not there, then it still will not be done. All right, still will not be done. This is the idea of when you have a comfort zone, you are in there, it's difficult for you to go out, although your mind said you can get a better thing if you move out. But still, there is that nafs surrounding you, that passion, that lust that is surrounding the heart, and it becomes a barrier between the mind and the heart. As such, the heart does not push you to do things, and you're not going to do it. So how do we connect this with ourselves and those that we're going to treat? And the soul, the meeting of the soul, the message of the heart to the heart, this is also sometimes, if you don't, it's not apparent, but it's still tangible at the oral level of the heart is to heart. When you speak to somebody from the heart, then their heart can accept it, right? It reaches their heart, then there will be change, there will be transformation in the way that they move, they act. So can we go to the next one? Stress. This is the last one, I think, right? So as we mentioned just now, that there is a balance to all things. There is balance in the human, in the natural law surrounding us. There is a balance in the Sharia that controls our life. There is a balance in our own life of the five faculties. So whenever there is imbalance in all these things, it will produce stress, right? If you are imbalanced in your mind, you do not know what to do, then you are stressed, you cannot decide. And if your heart does not have a conviction, you become what they call non-motivation. There's no motivation. So you become lethargic, and after some time it gets to you, and you also become stressed and a lot of things, right? And you see this in all the, especially your patient, the trauma, and and the sometimes the paranoia and a lot of things, right? How do we get things? For those who believe in one Allah is the best, they always go back to Allah, as they said, yani allazina idza asabathum musibah qalu inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Those believers, those when they were being afflicted with any affliction, they will say, we are from Allah and we are going back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Okay, we are for Allah and we surely go back to Him. So with this, we go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we are in the stress. So some things are things that you can practice. I'm quite sure, brothers and sisters, that if you take time off just a bit, if you are becoming stressed, if you're angry, right, sit down, go into yourself. Those who know how to do zikr, do zikr. Those who don't know, then you just sort of meditate into yourself, right? And you'll find peace in there. So those who believe, allazina amanu, right? It says in the Quran, allazina amanu wa tatma'innu qulubuhum bi zikrillah, ala bi zikrillah tatma'innul qulub. Ar-Ra'd, ayat 28. Those who believe and their hearts become peaceful, find comfort in the remembrance of Allah. Surely in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find comfort. But it says here, zikrillah. So translation usually put it as remembrance. But if I translate it in Bahasa Melayu, I would say those who do zikir mean those who do ingat sebut. Remember and mention. Remember and mention. Remember and mention. Remember Allah and say Allah. Remember Allah, the most merciful, then say Ar-Rahman. Remember Allah, the most powerful, then you say Al-Qawi. Allah, the most enormous, the most big in all things. Allahu Akbar, this sort of thing, right? So not just remember. So with this zikr, you'll find comfort. So I would say that for Muslims, this is what they do. And even for those those with scriptures, they reveal religion, the Christianity, the Jews, and so on, they will have the same practices of zikr. And for those who are not with that, then we must see what are the things that they do. We must think to understand what are the things that they do in order to be in connection with the gods that they believe. So the next slide, please. Thank you very much. Shukran. And that's it. So in short, Allah the Creator, the one and only, Allah the most powerful, set up the mizan, set up the balance, set up the rules and the natural laws that is perfect and balanced. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also sent down as ilah the sharia, the things to be believed, the book that give guidance, and it's also a balance to do justice, right? And in the end, He also gave us the faculties to understand all this thing, all the world surrounding us. And with this faculty, you are also given the responsibility to discover Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and given the responsibility to utilize each and everyone to help one another as well. And given the responsibility, if you become unbalanced, to seek back what will make you come back to the balance. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you for listening.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Thank you, Datuk, for the enlightening lectures about practical of Tawheed in our own daily practice. Maybe we have few of our non-Muslim participant. Maybe few terms is a little bit new for them, but it's okay. I mean, the gist of what Dato is sharing is that to believe the Creator is the healer, and also we are relying on Him for all our act on a daily basis. Dato, there's a question from the participant. Assalamualaikum, Dato. Principle of Tawheed, Islamic belief, is something internalized within ourselves. It's something with the cult. My question is how the person can externalize his belief in his daily practice. In other words, spreading the Islamic culture and belief, meanwhile not causing any discomfort to other person in this multiracial and multi-religious country. Thank you, Doctor. So this is question from the participant. I mean, if you can give some input about this thing, either you should be showing more your tawheed or your belief, or is it something to just keep with yourself?
Okay, I will rephrase the question. Is that how can we manifest our belief and not what they call it, insult or not creating problem to others? In short, that's the question.
Yes, I mean, because when they externalize his belief in his daily practice, in other words, he starts spreading his Islamic culture and belief to others. Yeah. Meanwhile, not causing any discomfort. How is a person going to do that?
Yeah. Okay. Especially in Malaysia, we have always been bombarded by saying that there are things that are sensitive to be discussed. So we don't discuss things about comparative religions, for example. Perhaps we are not, quote and unquote, wise enough or matang enough to discuss things in that matter without touching without touching anger in sort of discussion. And religion is something, or belief is something that is close and very important to human being. One of the projects that we're on now is that we're going to say strategic sustainability development goal number 18, which is spirituality, under the spirituality task force headed by Prof. Abdul Aziz Barhoud, the Dean of ISTAC. So when you are a Muslim, for example, right, you are required, I said required, you are obligated, right, to manifest your belief into action, the action of Amal Saleh, right? So pious deeds, whether the pious deed is in your relation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you personally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the, what they call it, the hablu min Allah, you're also required to manifest this pious deed in relation with other people, hablu min nas. So this is considered amal saleh, the pious deed that is counted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you are to be rewarded upon this, right? So, you know, those who believe, those who have iman, they have to do good deeds, right? Those who have iman as well, those who have the knowledge. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before being a political leader in Medina, before being the lawgiver in Medina, before being a judge, before being a lawgiver, he was a da'i, the one who calls to his Lord, right? In Christianity, the original sign of Christianity during the time of the Romans, it was the fish, a simple symbol of a fish, right? Not the cross. The cross is taken up in the 15th century. In Germany, it started out. Not the right cross. The right cross was long ago before, even during the time of the Egyptian. The right cross means the cross that has the same measurement, right? Not the elongated cross that we see in Christianity, where people are being salibkan di situ, ya. So the right cross represents unity. So it was there in the Egyptian hieroglyphics. It started with the square, and then also in the flag of Switzerland. Like Switzerland has three main races in there, bangsa, three main ethnic groups in there: the Italians, the Germans, and the French. That symbolize their unity. So the Christian have the first symbol as the fish, of the fish, because they said Isa alayhi salam, Jesus was the fisher of men, not the fisher of fish, the fisher of men. So he brings men to Hidayah. At that time, that is the Islam, right? So Islam, the universal aspect of Islam, the belief in one God, and the akhlaq, or the ethics system, and so on and so on. This is also is considered Islam. The things are submission. Only the Sharia, the laws and regulation, might be different from one prophet to another prophet. But apart from that, it's all the same, as Allah mentioned. The one that has been sent to Noah, and the one that has been sent to Adam, there has been Musa and Isa, and the one sent to you. So this is the message of Islam. You believe in the Lord, you have to be good to the people. Show good deeds, help them, and all these things will be rewarded. Very simple. In the hadith, he says that لا تحقرن بالمعروف شيئا وإن أن تلقى أخاك بوجه طلق أو another ayah بوجه طلق. That do not look down upon any good deeds, ma'ruf, any ma'ruf. Even if to show your brothers or your sisters or your community a radiant face, wajhin taliqin, a radiant face, senyumlah. All right, and that's why it says, if the sanamatuka li akhika sadaqah, your smile to your brother is a sadaqah. So a lot of things, right? And imatatul aza an tariq is sadaqah, taking away things that might hurt people from the street is sadaqah. A branch, a stone, take it away. A hole, then you fill it up. This is also is considered sadaqah. So all good things are sadaqah. This is why where you have to manifest your belief. And in discussing, as our experience have done with the different religious group, we do not judge. We present what Islam is all about, and you show by da'watu bil hal, the Muslims should be showing good akhlaq to the people. Alhamdulillah, Susmac toilets are nice. I checked the Susmac toilets, right? But the smell is not that nice. So I will be recommending that you must learn from the Japanese how to put smell in the toilet. Even at the mosque here in Gombak, I'm still not satisfied. It is wet all the time. It's not dry. So how are we going to do it? Right? So these are the things that we have to think about. So this is also a manifestation of your belief. Right? Manifestation. All this thing has been taught and has been practiced by the Prophet ﷺ in his life. So there's no reason to say that we cannot. Right? So as far as I am concerned, as a Muslim, all the people, regardless of religion, unless he is an enemy of the Lord, right? You should be befriending everyone. So I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry. I personally, after so many years in Europe and 9 years in the Sudan, mixing with the people of the world, I don't go anymore for things based on race. My first measurement is the belief. It's a Muslim. It just so happened that I was born in the race so-called Melayu. I'm not sure I'm Melayu fully, because my great-grandfather came from North Sumatra, but not Achinese, not Aceh, right? So this is the thing. Let's not be so bogged down with the ethnic group or racial group. We should be moving more into the platform of meeting one another as believers, right? Believers in something higher than our life, right? And then that even all religions will be teaching about being good to others. Hinduism, when you reach up to moksha level, you're going to do good only to the people surrounding you, right? This is the life of moksha. And also in Buddhism, you know that the Dalai Lama is an atheist. He said, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God. And he's the Buddhist. But in Buddhism, it is living according to good akhlaq, good ethics. That makes you a good Buddhist. So all things are there. You might want to say that Islam is the best, then convince them by your action, by your good words. You might want to say that Christianity is the savior, then convince people. People have the brain, people have the mind, people have the heart. So it is not a matter of emotion, it is a matter of Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah wal mau'izah hasanah. Call to the way of your Lord with Ud'u ila rabbika ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah, with wisdom, right? With wisdom, not with emotion. Wajadilhum, and if you have to discuss, you have to quarrel, if you have to debate, billati hi ahsan, debate in the best of manner to arrive at the truth rather than debating just to win the argument. So I think this should be our attitude with the other. Thank you very much. Thank you for the question, brother or sister.
Maybe we have one more question. We have it. Okay, question. Assalamualaikum Datuk. I would like to ask, is there any parameter or accurate measures that we can use in order to identify or reflect that we are in line with Tawheed principle or not in our daily practice? Is there anything that, yes, I'm practicing a correct Tawheed in our daily activities, or something that can show us whether we are on the correct pathway or not?
Okay. Share in the realm of Fardu Ain, right? In the realm of Fardu Ain, meaning the knowledge that each and every one of us, Muslim, must have. That's why it's called Fardu Ain, the obligation of the self, or the Ain, right? Not Fardu Kifaya. Fardu Kifaya is something like you doctors are doing the job of one of you have done it, a lot of now doing it. But Fardu Ain is at the personal level. You have to know this thing. So traditionally, we are supposed to know about Aqidah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I think I've told you just now, right? Allah the creator, Allah the one and only, and the one who decides for you, will see. Allah the one, the lawgiver, and so on and so forth. And this is quite clearly expounded in the book of the four terminologies by Abu Ala Maududi. All right, and if you want to go into the traditional understanding, then you go to Al-Ghazali's small book of Al-Iqtisad fil I'tiqad, the summary, being economic about teaching about I'tiqad or your belief. So these two books is enough for you to have the Fardu Ain. You can go to simpler books in Fardu Ain to know what is supposed to be understood by a person, a Muslim person. Number two, the knowledge about the daily obligation that you have to do, the Fardu Ain that you have to do, the prayers, right? The 5 pillars of Islam that you have to know, right? The fasting, the Hajj, and the Zakat, right? And the third part, which a lot of our schools and community that we have now has left for quite some time, is the realm of tasawwuf or akhlaq, right? Some people tasawwuf, some call akhlaq, and this is the spiritual tie to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is where you learn about a good character as a reflection of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's characteristic, and you also have how to strengthen the relation with your Lord, and so on and so forth. So these are the three areas. So whether you want to know, number one, you stand up in prayer, for example. All right. So it started when you're going to come for Salat. It will start from the time, perhaps, while you are doing the wudu. As you are doing the wudu, washing, so you have to know what sort of which part to be washed and which part to be what they call it, just touch, sapu with, wipe, and so on and so forth. But then, do you realize that at that instant of taking wudu, Prophet ﷺ said that do your wudu properly, for the sin will pass away with the water of wudu that you have done. The sin will flow away, right? But is your heart in that or not? Or you're just doing it mechanically? So if your heart is in there, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I seek your forgiveness. As I have make what they call it, purification upon my physical parts, please purify me internally as well. The same idea when you wake up in the morning and look yourself in the mirror, you say, oh Lord, as you have make myself beautiful, make my internal part beautiful as well. Right? Make my akhlaq beautiful. As you make me handsome and so on, make my behavior, my akhlaq as well, handsome as well. So when you stand in prayer, you're going to do, you know, all the 13 rukun that you have, but then you also have to be there. Who are you standing in front of now? Who are you bowing to later on when you want to do ruku? And when you do your prostration, why do you put your forehead to the same level as your feet? To whom are you doing this protection? So your heart must be there. Then you will know that when you finish, Assalamu alaikum, Assalamu alaikum, you feel a certain satisfaction, you feel certain whiteness of your chest, then you know you have done it correctly. Right? After that, what you just need to take care of is to take care of the last impression that I said in the field, because down there it will start pushing to you the arrows of ta'ajjub with yourself, and then you're going to go for takabbur, and then later on the next salat, you will do it just properly, more attentive, because you're saying people will see that my prayer is so good. So that's not for Allah anymore. So these are the things you have to take care of, please. Thank you. Thank you for the question, brother.
Thank you, Datuk. Really enlightening input from Datuk. And just to make sure that we are on the correct path, and there will be signs that we are actually doing it correctly, either it's externally or internally, having the self-calmness and also on the daily activities. So thank you again, Datuk, for your lectures and your
Sama. Pleasure. Thank you for you.
It's a very great opportunity to have you here with us during this workshop. I think we'll end our lecture for today. I mean, for this session, and we'll continue with our next lecture. Just to make sure that Ustaz Abdul Rahman is he here now? Okay. Just while waiting to set up for Ustaz Abdul Rahman, can we have a picture together with Datuk Hamidun? And is it possible for all the participants to open their video so that we can have a proper image with everyone opening their videos? PG Secretary is having the whole team. One group. Okay, thank you. Do we have our cameraman? Those who haven't opened up their camera can open up their camera first before 10 o'clock. We have some more time. Okay, great. A little bit more.
For those interested, the background is Kulliyyah of Education. Huh? My background.
Ustaz Rahman lepas ni boleh apa? Comment from Datuk Amidon about our toilet. We can apa? Syarah complain can remind the suspect.
Oh, the best, but you just need a better smell. Huh?
Okay. Good input.
Thank you.
Can start taking the picture. I mean, IOSK team, anyone taking the picture?
I'm taking it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Very good, Dr. Saiful.
Another one, just one, last one. All right, we're done. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you again. Thank you, Dato, for your time.
You.
Okay, inshallah, we'll continue our next lecture with Ustaz Abdul Rahman bin Al-Azmi. He gained his degree from IIUM and then continue his study in Saudi Arabia. He will be explaining to us about the overview of Fiqh and Ibadat in medicine. So without further delay, I would like to invite Ustaz Abdul Rahman to give his lecture. فليتفضل مشكورا.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawalah. First of all, thank you very much to Mr. Chairman or Mr. Irfan, Dr. Irfan Salmi, for inviting me, and for the organizer, especially Dr. Shafar Ihsan, coordinator of IHK, fellow speakers, Dr. Hamidun, that our SASMED also invite him for this Friday monthly talk, and Prof. Aminuddin, head of department, compliance, fellow speakers, and Dr. Hasbullah, and fellow expert panels, I think are also in this Zoom meeting, such as Dr. Ibrahim Shoga and others, and all the participants. This is very interesting because this program, we have the Muslim and non-Muslim participant. We share our Muslim, and because when we go into the practice, we have a passion for Muslim and non-Muslim. So we need to know the overview, how to communicate, how to apply all the things that the majority of patient comes from Muslim. Okay, I would like to share my screen. Okay, my screen is appear or not?
Yes, can you just change to projection?
Okay.
PowerPoint.
So my topic is about overview of Fiqh Ibadah in medicine. Medicine for the clinical postgraduate curriculum of medicine, Islamic input medical practice seminar for this year. Okay, this the overview of discussion, our discussion about the 1 hour and maybe less than one hour. First, we are going to talk about the Fiqh. The second is about Ibadah, what is Ibadah, and we are going to narrow down about Fiqh Ibadah in medicine, and then we're going to talk about the principle of fiqh related to Fiqh Ibadah in medicine, and then we focus on the topic of ruqsah. This is very common in hospital setting and healthcare setting. The last one is a common issue, practical related to Fiqh Ibadah in healthcare setting. First is Fiqh. The definition of Fiqh, what is a Fiqh? Fiqh, by literal meaning, it means deep understanding. It's based on one hadith. Our Prophet said, "Man yuridillahu bi khairan yufaqihu fid din." Whoever Allah wants good for, He will grant him fiqh, which is deep understanding of the religion. According to the Professor Dr. Muhammad Abu Zahra, one of Muslim scholars, he said the fiqh is the knowledge of the Sharia rulings which are related to the action of mukallaf from its detailed sources, which is Al-Quran, As-Sunnah, Ijma', Qiyas, and others. So we can understand that the fiqh is about the practical things. Then the sources is from Al-Quran, Sunnah, Ijma', and Qiyas. We can conclude about the fiqh. First, this is a deep understanding. The second one is related to action or practical of mukallaf. The sources of fiqh is Al-Quran, As-Sunnah, Ijma', Qiyas, and others. And fiqh involves Sharia ruling. So the context of first is wajib. You must do it. It's compulsory. The second is prohibited. It's haram. And then the recommended is sunnah. And dislike, makruh. And the last one is mubah, permissible. So the fiqh is involved around 5 things, which is maybe it can be haram, it can be prohibited, it can be compulsory, it can be recommended, it can be disliked or permissible. This is a fiqh. In Sunni, in Islam, we have 4 Sunni school of thought in fiqh. The first one is Shafi'i, is the official mazhab at Malaysia, the official school of thought fiqh in Malaysia, and we have 3 others, which is Hanafi, Hanbali, and Maliki. Actually, we have many more others, but the most recognized Sunni thought school of thought now is we have only 4. When we are trying to talk about the scope of fiqh, first we need to know that scope of fiqh is cover all aspects of life. We have the first one is fiqh al-Ibaadah. It consists of completion, prayer, fasting, zakat, and hajj. Second one is fiqh al-Usrah, or we can some scholars say that it's fiqh al-Munakahat, which is about marriage, divorce, kinship, and others. And the third one is fiqh Muamalah. It's about transaction, sale, purchase, rental, financing, and so on. When we talk about fiqh Muamalah, I think after this we have a lecture about fiqh Muamalah. It's about the transaction, sale, and so on. The first is fiqh al-Jinayah or al-Uqubah, or al-Uqubah, which is discussed about the punishment to certain criminal that Allah said, our Prophet said they have a certain punishment to them. The fifth one is fiqh al-Ahkam Sultaniyah or Siyasah Syariah. It's about obligation and responsibility as a ruler, government, and people in the country, for example. And the sixth is fiqh al-Alaqa al-Dawliyah, Siyar or Siyar. It's about the international relation about this country and other country, for example. And the last one, fiqh al-Adab wal-Akhlaq, is about the good moral and manner. So when we are trying talk about fiqh, actually is cover all aspects of life, from the ibadah, your relationship with the God, and fiqh muamalah, for example, fiqh munakahat, your relationship with others, fiqh jinayah, and so on. It is about the fiqh. The second part of our discussion today is about ibadah. What is ibadah? Ibadah is come from word of abadah, which means submission and surrender. According to the Oxford Dictionary of Islam, ibadah means worship and acts of devotion. So I think ibadah can be in Muslim, we have the certain how to perform ibadah. For the non-Muslim, they also have their own style or their own way to perform ibadah. So according to Ibn Taymiyyah, in one of his book Al-Ibaadah, ibadah is a comprehensive term that encompasses all what Allah loves, word and deeds, whether in word or outward. So what the Allah Almighty love can be the word, can be the deed. So it can be in what it can be you can see, or you can see you can see it. So if Allah loves this thing, so it's ibadah. According to Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, in one of his book Al-Kafiyah al-Shafiyah, worship is the utmost degrees to love of Allah, while accompanied by complete surrender. So the degree of Allah is worship. We need to surrender, fully surrender to Allah SWT. Is we can say is ibadah. What is ibadah? Ibadah, in other definition, is more comprehensive. According to Syekh Abdul Rahman bin Nasir al-Sa'adi, ibadah is a comprehensive term, includes all what Allah loves of belief in word and outward deeds. Doing good deeds and refraining from sins are considered a worship which draws a person closer to Allah. So what things that Allah love or stay away from the sins, we can say is ibadah. So ibadah, the objective, we want to get closer to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. In Islam, concept of ibadah is one of the main purpose of human creation. As a Muslim, one of the main purpose is to do ibadah to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And ibadah in Islam is easy and practical to all human beings. Whatever your condition and so on, is easy and practical to practice. And ibadah not limited to the 5 pillars of Islam only. Some Muslim they thought that ibadah is about 5 pillars of Islam only. It's about the prayer, it's about the fasting, zakat, haji, that's all. But the true concept of ibadah Islam is not only 5 pillars of Islam. It's more important than that. Then ibadah is any pure deed performed with sincere intention to obey and please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any pure deed performed with sincere intention, not because of other things, but only for Allah, so we can call it ibadah. So 2 basic requirements of ibadah. The first one is ikhlas. Sincere only to Allah Almighty. Second one, follow the guidance of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and not contradict with the general principle of Sharia. When we meet both 2 requirements, it's considered as ibadah. When you treat the patient, you ikhlas, you do it only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe you have attention because of your salary and so on, but you need to have ikhlas and then follow the guidance of Prophet Muhammad. You do it in manner and so on. So it's considered as ibadah, not only for prayer only. So we have meet 2 requirements of ibadah. It's considered as ibadah, and Allah say it's a good deed, and you can get it this reward, and you can after in your after is can accumulate as one of the deed of your in your life. Okay. This is a common misconception about ibadah in healthcare setting. Patients who are admitted to hospital are exempted from performing any ibadah, such as prayers, fasting, covering the aurah. Because of what? Because patient is sick. Family members, this is a patient misconception. Family members and healthcare personnel also have this misconception. They also, patient is sick, no need to pray. But it's wrong. Because as a Muslim, as long as you can do the ibadah, especially salah, you can do it. You can do it, but we need to change how to perform the ibadah. So we need to this scenario at hospital is very common. So we need to change it. Because our target, all of patient can perform the ibadah, especially the salah of prayer is very, very important for the Muslim. Next, we are going to talk about the fiqh ibadah in medicine. We are going to narrow down to our topic. We are going to talk about scope of fiqh. Fiqh is we have a fiqh ibadah, fiqh munakahat, fiqh muamalah, and so on. Then we have fiqh ibadah. This is one of scope of fiqh is fiqh ibadah. Then we narrow down fiqh ibadah in medicine. The first scope of fiqh, we have fiqh ibadah, fiqh munakahat, fiqh muamalah, fiqh jinayah, and so on. Then now we focus on the first one is fiqh ibadah. It's about ablution, prayer, fasting, zakat, hajj, and others. Then we are going to focus in fiqh ibadah. When we are talking about the fiqh ibadah in medicine, not all the fiqh ibadah include in fiqh ibadah medicine. For example, azan in iqamah, I think it's not directly about fiqh ibadah in medicine. Zakat, it can do, it can have a relationship, but not really. Hajj we have, but for wudu, for tayammum, prayer, jenazah related matter, obligatory baths, and so on, is very related to fiqh ibadah and medicine. So this our focus. Our discussion today is focused in fiqh ibadah in medicine. So fiqh ibadah in medicine, first, is not necessarily involve all the topics, issues discussed in fiqh ibadah as general. So fiqh ibadah more focus of ibadah of patient during illness or involving medical procedures. Understanding on how to perform ibadah during illness, such as cleaning the clothes and so on, is about the fiqh ibadah. So we need to understand, because fiqh is understand, and we understand about the fiqh how to perform the ibadah during the illness. It's a fiqh ibadah in medicine. Now we move to the principle of fiqh related to fiqh ibadah in medicine. The first principle is very common. The common in fiqh ibadah in medicine, we say no harm. Do not harm and do not get harm. La dar wa la dir. This, I think, very principle is very common in medicine. We do not give the harm to the patient. So this is a very, very important principle in fiqh also. The second one is removing harm will be preferred over providing benefit. Dar'ul mafasid awla min jabil masalih. So when we're facing to remove the harm or to get the benefit, we need to remove the harm first. For example, the patient with need to amputation for the diabetes patient. So we need to remove body part. This is a harm. Maybe they get the benefit from their leg, for example, but we need to prioritize remove the harm first, which is we need to remove the leg, for example, because of this condition. The third one is hardship is to be removed. Any darar, any harmful, we need to remove. We need to remove it first because it's a priority in medicine. This same principle in fiqh ibadah. Next, a bigger hardship is to be removed by a smaller hardship. Ad-darar ashad yuzalu bi-darar akhaf. When we are facing with two conditions, these are two hardships. So we need to choose to remove a bigger hardship, even to do a smaller hardship. For example, when we perform the procedure in OT, we need to cut or we need to do some operation. It's a hardship, it's a darar, but we need to do because we want to remove, for example, the tumor in the body. So we need to perform the operation. Operation itself is darar because it can be have a side effect, for example, but we need to do because we need to remove a more bigger hardship. Okay. Then the other principle is a hardship cannot be removed by an equal hardship. When we have two hardships, there's equal. So we need it's not permissible to do one hardship because to remove the equal hardship. But if a bigger hardship, we can do it. And then the other principle is allowance of prohibition is limited to the extent and specific time of need. We can do what is prohibited in the normal condition, normal circumstances, but it's not for long life. It's limited. It's limited. For example, for patient who need to pray jamak pray, or for the patient who need to take tayammum, unable to perform wudu. But after it become healthy, it's not give any hardship for him, so he need to come back to the previous or the azimah, which is wudu. That is the principle. So when we have a prohibition or allowance of prohibition to do anything, it's not for long life. Then the next principle is necessity allow the use of prohibited things. Ad-darar tubihul mahzurat. For example, consumption of non-halal medicine in certain condition is permissible. For example, class-based medicine, because this is the best one, for example, the most efficacy, for example. So we can do it. We can consume, but until we cure and we don't need to use, then we remove it. Okay. Then the other principle is a thing which is allowed on a specific pretext and the justification finish, then the allowance limitation will also finish. Ma jaza li'uzrin batul li zawalihi. Example, the person can do the tayammum because of bandage, for example. When the bandage is removed, so the tayammum is not allowed. We need, the person need to get back to the wudu, for example. And then the other principle is hardship brings easiness. Al-mashaqqa tajlibu taysir. In some condition, we can be hardship, very hard to perform the prayer in standing position. So in Islam, we are allowed to perform the prayer in sitting position or lying down on the bed. We can do the salah, can do the prayer, because this principle, hardship bring easiness. Al-mashaqqa, when you are facing the hardship, the Islam come and give the solution, the easiness, the easier, the alternative we can do, as long as we still perform the prayer. For example, mashaqqa tajlibu taysir. Then the most important principle of ibadah in medicine is rukhsah. This is concession. In the most principle, we have too many principles, but the most common, the most important as a healthcare personnel, as a patient, we need to know is about rukhsah. Because if we not clear or we have not have knowledge about rukhsah, the ibadah, how to perform the Islam, practical of Islam, is look very complex. It's very hard. But if we know to apply this rukhsah, it's easier for the patient, for the nurses, for the doctor, for the personnel, for all the surrounding at the hospital, because they know, okay, the patient unable to do this thing. So we have another alternative. For example, we can do it, still do it. So it's very important. So what is rukhsah? What is concession? In literally, the meaning of rukhsah is to ease. In definition of fiqh, this is a temporary permission of an otherwise non-permissible or prohibited action or substance in a particular situation as per the essential agreement in the large interest of human being. In normal condition, it's not permissible. But in temporary permission, we can do it. We can do it because of certain condition. This is also another definition, certain exemption or facilitation provided by Allah Almighty during ibadah under certain situation. Not all the situation, certain situation only, and certain exemption and or facilitation. Not all the exemption or facilitation. We have a specific case-by-case basis. Then objective. What is objective of rukhsah? The objective is 5 objectives. We can call it maqasid sharia. The first one is to protect the religion. When the Islam allow to do rukhsah, why? The objective is first to protect the religion, because to ensure the prayer, the fasting, we can do it. We can perform it. Okay, so protect religion. The second one is obviously its relation have a close relation with medicine, is to protect the life. Because when we do the rukhsah, the patient can get any harm. Because when the patient, they have a low blood pressure, for example, but we advise him need to perform the prayer in standing position. It's harmful. Maybe give a harmful to the patient. So change to the sitting position. This is to protect the life. The third one, to protect the progeny. Progeny is very important, especially when we are talking in medicine. We are talking about the ONG, or we are talking about the PITS. It's about the progeny. The first is to protect the intellect and mind, also for certain condition, for the patient that have a mental health problem, for example, is about protect the intellect and mind. The last one is protect the words. It's very important. Also, it's a very we have a relationship between protect the words and in medicine. Then we are moved to the category of action allowing rukhsah. We have 3 conditions or 3 categories. The first one, we call it daruriyat. This is action that could lead to loss of life or vital organ. This condition is clear indication of rukhsah. For example, if we insist the patient, for example, patient in emergency, so we said that not expose her aura, because if in Islam we can expose, but that patient in emergency, so in that condition we can expose the aura. We can expose, but as requirement only, because it's the condition of daruriyah is a clear indication to do the rukhsah. The second one is hajat, action that may result in difficulty. One person may experience more than usual difficulty, but does not lead to any loss of life or vital organ. This the second level. This condition may become a reason for rukhsah, but depend on person and option of endurance with azimah. Here, azimah, which means the normal condition. So it can become rukhsah, but it's option for that person to take the rukhsah or not. It's hajat. Last one is tahsiniyah. It's a recommendable action in which one may or may not bear any hardship and or have only a very little difficulty. So this action cannot be used as justification for rukhsah. Tahsiniyah. Tahsiniyah is not the necessary thing. So when we face this condition, these circumstances and so on, it's not allow you to do the rukhsah. For example, I give the example. For example, for the woman, she want to do the tayammum because of what? Because she has makeup at her face. So it's tahsiniyah, mascara and so on. So when you perform the wudu, it's hard for her, but it's not hajat or darurat, it's tahsiniyah. So you can change from wudu to tayammum, for example. Okay. Then we proceed to condition where rukhsah concession is allowed. Okay, we have 6 conditions, but the highlight with yellow. These are 2 conditions that is related to medicine or healthcare. The first is journey. When you journey, you can do rukhsah. For example, prayer you can do from 4 to 2 raka'ah. For example, fasting you can break the fast. For example, the second one is disease. Marad, for prayer you can do from the standing position to the sitting position or laying down position. For ablution you can do you can work on your bandage and so on. The third one is forgetfulness. When you forget to prayer, you are forgiven and you need to pray soon after you realize that you are not praying yet. Or for fasting, when you eat, for example, Magdi, and then, oh, I'm realized I'm fast. So you can continue your fasting, for example. The fourth is ignorance, jahal. For example, the children, they don't understand but they need to pay or so on, so they can do so. And the fifth is prevalent norms. For example, dowry of marriage. The last one is defect. Defect is related to the medicine. Defect in body or intellect. For example, individual with certain mental disorder, so he exemption to the prayer when the condition they have a mental disorder. For example, okay, this is a condition where rukhsah is allowed in Islam. Okay, now we move to the types of rukhsah. The first one type of rukhsah is we can call it delaying action, which is ta'khir. For example, jamak prayer for a dying or an illness patient. For dying or illness patient, for those who can perform the prayer in the first in the takdim, for example, Zuhr and Asar, we have 2 types of prayer. So the patient can do the prayer at Zuhr time. So he can do it at Asar. Then he need to do the Jamak, to combination of prayer Zuhr and Asar at Asar time, for example. Or for example, after undergo or involved in long operation procedure. For example, for those need to do the operation before started prayer of Zuhur, for example, until finish at 5 o'clock, for example. So starting from 1 o'clock, so 1 o'clock the Zuhur is not coming, and of operation at 5. So for those involved, patient, healthcare personnel, doctor, and so on, he can do Jamak Takhir. Jamak Takhir is, for example. Okay. Then the second one is exemption. Takhir exemption. For example, we will seek for men in case of allergy. And in normal condition, it's not permissible for the men, but for the allergy, we can do it based on hadith Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another condition, perform prayer without taking wudu tayammum in certain condition. For the burn patient, for example, can use water or tayammum, can use any sign and so on. So how to do the prayer? You can do the prayer without taking wudu or tayammum, certain condition, for example. And then modification, tahrir, which is position of prayer during lying and illness. In normal condition, you need to perform the prayer in standing position, but in certain condition, when you are very restless, dying and illness, you can do the prayer instead sitting down on your bed or on the chair, or maybe you perform the prayer in lying down condition. This what we call modification. And then type of sah is forgiveness. Is called, for example, women during menses or unconscious patient, so the prayer is exemption for them. Okay, and then ibdal or replacement. Tayammum is replacement of wudu during certain condition. In certain condition, tayammum is replaced for the wudu. And then prospective action, or we can call it takdim. Takdim, for example, the first one is takhir, is takdim. Jamak prayer is permissible for patient or personnel before entering confession theatre to undergo involved in long operation procedure. For example, patient or healthcare personnel need to perform the operation. Patient is started from 3 p.m. 3 p.m. or 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. 3 p.m. for example. And the normal period of operation, it can be finished at 8 p.m. So how about Asar prayer? So the patient and healthcare personnel can do the takdim, prospective action, perform the Zuhr and Asar in Zuhr time. This is Jamak. Then you do the patient, and after you finish, you can proceed with Maghrib prayer. This is takdim. Example. Then the other sort is reduction. Tankis, reduction. Perform prayer during illness. Perform tayammum instead of wudu during illness. When you are in the illness condition, the normal condition is you need to stand up and rukuk, sujud, and so on. But during the illness, you perform the prayer on the bed, but you can do the rukuk, you can do the sujud, so on. So you can call it a reduction. Same with tayammum. When you perform a tayammum, you just rub your face and your hand, but not your head and your leg. Different from the wudu, but it's call it reduction, and it's permissible in Islam. Now we proceed to the application of the Rukhsah principle. When we know about the Rukhsah, okay, we can do it. What we can do, but they have application of Rukhsah principle. It's not simply you can do the Rukhsah without any rules, any principle. They have a principle. This Muslim scholar set the principle So we just need to follow it. The first one is not a general rule and restricted to a particular situation and can be used to other conditions. Can be used. This is not general rule. For example, all the patients for those patients, they are admitted to the ward, they can do the jamak prayer. It's not true. All the patients who are admitted at the ward can do the tayammum. No, no. We need to see, we need to look case by case. Okay, and restricted to particular situation. Maybe the same patient before the operation, he can perform the wudu. After post operation, he can do the wudu from the wudu and can move the time, for example. The same patient before the operation can perform the prayer in standing position, but after the operation and way of time in the work, maybe he or she need to perform prayer in sitting position. This because not a particular situation, he can do the change based on the condition. The second one, level of soft based on level of darurah. For example, prayer. Some patient maybe need can perform prayer on sitting position, but other patient can do it. He need to perform the prayer lying down on the bed. So the condition will determine the level of soft. The third one, permissible of soft application have the time limit, situation, and condition. I just mentioned, just explained before. They have the limit, not all until long life or not. So the soft is have the limit until the condition is removed, is soft, and so on. Can go back to the normal condition. Then availing of soft is based on actual situation. It's not about the assumption and so on. But the result is based on actual situation. And then the result is to remove hardship, not for enjoyment. Is very, very important because some patient, some Muslim, they think that result is to give him or give them enjoyment or just to do 2 rakah prayer for example. But result is not for enjoyment, but it's to remove the hardship in order to ensure all the Muslim can perform their ibadah. And then also is applied only when an alternate is not available. Whereas for the other alternative, we need go to the alternative first before we do the ruqsah. For example, for those who are difficult to perform the wudu with water, but we have spray, for example, we need to use spray first before we move to the next alternative, which is tayammum. So go to the alternative first. Then option to avail a choice. In case of doctor, when they decide for azimah situation, they have the choice. They have the choice because in this the same condition, same level, same not have the, for example, not the hardship is more than get benefit. So the option we have the option to choose. Okay. Next, certain ruqsah are compulsory. In certain condition, we need to take the ruqsah. We need to take the ruqsah. For example, during life-threatening situation, I think in medical have the same principle. In emergency, for example, we need to wait to get the consent first or give the medication first. Give the medication. This same principle for the Muslim, for the ruqsah. When the life-threatening situation, we need to ensure the condition is stable first. Even we need to do the ruqsah. The last one, only those have knowledge and full comprehension of Islamic principle in decision making can apply the ruqsah principle. Otherwise, they shall ask other people with knowledge for advice. So we need to ask those who have knowledge, maybe a doctor, maybe a ustaz, maybe and others. Either is this so is permissible or not, is valid or not. Because some condition is case by case. Case by case is very not in the same condition. So we need to ask others to get the opinion, especially when we are facing the new situation. The new situation is a common situation. I think we can go straight away. So, but when we have a new situation, we need to discuss first with the expert. Okay. Now we move to the last part of this lecture discussion. Is common issue related with ibadah among patient or in healthcare settings. Okay. The first is about ablution wudu and tayammum. I just give an example, some example, because we have a lot of situation. Because I just pick the common condition, the common situation in the ward. For example, patient with bandage at the face, head, and or leg. How to take the wudu? Because based on my experience, when we have visiting the patient, some patients tend to skip the prayer. They prefer to perform qada prayer after they discharge or become healthy from the ward. So when we ask, Pakcik, Pakcik solat ke? Oh tak apa, solat nanti Pakcik gantilah bila dah Pakcik keluar. This is a very common situation. A common situation at the work. So, what we can do as a healthcare personnel, we can advise them to do the better thing than qada prayer. Qada prayer is the last choice. The last choice. Okay. How to do the solution? Which is we have two ways, two solutions. The first part, wash the healthy part as usual, and just what on the bandage part. And at the same time, no need to repeat the prayer after bandage is removed and become healthy. This opinion from Imam Nawawi, one of the prominent scholar in Mazhab Shafi'i and other Mazhab. So, for example, you have bandage at your hand. So you wash your face as usual, and when come to your hand, the bandage part you just wipe on the bandage, and then the others you need to wash as usual. So when we do it, no need to repeat the prayer because it's already complete, even after you remove or become healthy. The second opinion, you wash the healthy part as usual and just wipe on the bandage part, and you need to do tayammum, and then you need to repeat the prayers after bandage is removed and become healthy. This the opinion is opinion al-mu'tamad from Mazhab Shafi'i. Because why I share the two opinion, because the official Mazhab is Shafi'i in Malaysia, but we need to know the other opinion that is more flexible in hospital, which the first solution, the first way, this more practical. But when the patient which have their knowledge or their talk about the Mazhab Shafi'i, they want to perform the Mazhab Shafi'i, what Mazhab Shafi'i said, he can do it, the second opinion. So encourage the patient to the easier way, give them freedom to choose whether scholar opinion if they have their stand. Their stand, okay, go on. You need to have the debate and so on. Okay, so but the more flexible, more easier for the practical into of practicality in hospital, the first, but the second is also have the good opinion and good talk about this issue. Okay, the second common problem issue at the ward, patient with colostomy bag, CBD, or have continuous bleeding. So they not to perform the prayer. When we ask, Pakcik kenapa tak solat? Nak Pakcik boleh solat? Boleh. Kenapa tak solat Pakcik? Oh, Pakcik pakai beg najis. Tak boleh. Ni ada darah mengalir. Tak boleh. So they tend to qada prayer or to skip at all. So this is a problem. This is a common problem, common misconception among the patient at work. So, a solution, we can advise them. Wait until the time of prayer. Okay? Clear the urine or feces beside the bed if possible. If not possible, it's okay. Okay. Then, right source of bleeding. If about the bleeding, with bandage or pad or tissue. Okay. Then take wudu as soon as possible. Perform the prayer as usual as possible. Whatever urine, feces, blood pass out from the moment of taking wudu until the prayer are forgiven and the prayer is valid. So no need to worry. You can do the prayer. The best, you wait until the time of prayer. Dah masuk waktu, then clear the urine feces inside the bed if possible. If not possible, one fatwa from Jakif is permissible. To do prayer is forgiven. Dipanggil najis yang dimaafkan. Okay. If you have the bleeding, you can wrap the source of bleeding or bandage or pad of tissue, take the wudu as possible and perform the prayer. So it's nothing to worry. You can advise the patient how to do it. Then about the prayers. Patients are unable to move or perform the prayer with normal movement, standing, sitting, kneeling, starting, and so on. So the patient, they tend to skip the prayer because they feel difficulty, unable to perform prayer with normal movement. So they prefer to perform qada prayer. Some patient, based on experience when I visit the patient, why pakcik kenapa tak solat? Pakcik tak boleh solat macam biasa. Kalau pakcik solat nanti pahala pakcik kurang. This misconception. Kalau faham. Maknanya dia rasakan kalau lah solat tak dapat dilaksanakan secara biasa, maka pahala berkurang. But it's not true. Because in one hadith, that said, kita akan dapat, we can get the reward based on our condition, based on our normal condition. But if when we are on journey, musafir, or we are sick, marad, you can get the reward same as your normal condition. This one hadith. So we need to explain the patient. Kalau pakcik waktu sihat, pakcik semayang berdiri, sakit, pakcik tak semayang berdiri, pakciknya risau. Nabi sebut akan dapat pahala sama seperti mana pakcik sihat. So it's very important point. I think we need to explain to the patient. Okay. For this condition, if patient unable to stand, they are allowed to perform prayer on sitting position. If patient neither able to stand nor to sit, they can perform prayer or lying position or putting back on the ground or other position that no make their illness become worse. It's very important. Other condition very with no relative accompany them, difficult to move, difficult to take wudu repeatedly, losing their condition, not enough personal to help or to entertain them for every prayer time. So how to do? The patient not have any relatives, difficult to move, and at the same time healthcare personnel, doctor, nurses, not enough. They need to cater many other patients. So how to do? How to perform the prayer? Can they skip the prayer? No. So we can advise two solutions for the patient. The first one, if patient have difficulty to perform the prayer at the beginning of the prayer time, for every time prayer, so the second is method of jamak suri, which is perform the first prayer nearing end of prayer time and then perform the second prayer at the beginning of prayer time. For example, perform Zuhr prayer at 4 p.m. and then perform Asar prayer at 4:20 p.m. with the same. For example, the patient difficult to move, and the healthcare personnel they can entertain the patient every prayer time. So what we can do, healthcare personnel can help that patient at the end of the first prayer, Zuhur and Maghrib, for example, help them to perform the prayer, perform the wudu, and then they perform the prayer. Then they need to wait for maybe half an hour, maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes. When the second prayer time is entered, perform the prayer as soon as possible. So we settle two prayer in one time. If not possible or difficult, because we have specific time. For example, the relative only come to help the patient on visiting hours, 5 p.m. for example. And the healthcare personnel, doctor, nurses, not have enough time to help. So we can proceed to the third is method of jamak tamam with no qasar. What's mean jamak tamam? You perform the first and second prayer within first prayer time, or perform first and second prayer within second prayer time, without no qasar, without you deduct the amount of raka'ah. For example, you perform the Zuhur and Asar prayer 4 raka'ah and 4 raka'ah within Zuhur prayer time, or perform Zuhur and Asar prayer 4 and 4 within Asar prayer time. So this modification we can do in order to ensure all patients can perform the prayer. Okay. So very important for the doctors to understand it first before he can explain the patient. Then we move to the last part, which is fasting. Fasting also, some patients keep asking about the procedure. They invalidate the fasting during the Ramadan. Batal atau tidak? Batal atau tidak? So we have, I come with two different opinion. The first one is the opinion from Mazhab Shafi'i, al-Mu'tamad from Mazhab Shafi'i. Any particle object inserting into any open cavity, such as mouth, rectum, anus, nose or ear, this can invalidate the fasting. So apa-apa yang masuk dari rongga terbuka, mulut, depan dalam belakang contohnya, hidung dan telinga, so all can invalidate the fasting. It's from the Mazhab Shafi'i, but some of contemporary fiqh scholars, they say that the fasting will be invalidating if only meet some criteria, such as that particle that enter the body, providing energy, give the energy, or satiety, or quenching the thirst. Sama ada bagi tenaga, bagi kenyang, atau menghilangkan ataupun menghilangkan dahaga. So we need to look back our procedure. If they meet this criteria, so if can invalidate the fasting, or otherwise it's not invalidate the fasting, you can proceed with the fasting as usual. But if they need to follow the Mazhab Shafi'i, any particular object, once this come into the open cavity, for example scope, so scope until your stomach, for example, is invalidate the fasting. But some scholar, fiqh scholar, say it's not invalidate fasting because it's not give energy, satiety, or quenching the thirst. So what we can do, need to identify the common procedure that may affect the fasting, and need to have knowledge. Then educate patient about different opinion of fiqh scholars and give them freedom to choose whatever scholar opinion that they feel come to follow it. This the guideline that our department prepare, but it's not final because we have very too many opinion. But we ask the expert about the procedure and about the how we can istimbat, what can keluarkan hukum based on this condition, because all of the procedure is not discussed by the scholar from the Shafi'i, Imam Nawawi, and so on, but this part is discussed by the contemporary scholars. Thank you. That's all from me. I button back to the.
Okay. Jazakallah khair jazak to our lecturer, Ustaz Abdul Rahman. Inshallah. We have another few minutes, but can answer in a very concise way, because this is the topic commonly the participant will ask question. So the first question is, I think it's from female participant. Assalamualaikum Ustaz. I have a clarification. it is okay to do tayammum for makeup reason.
Okay, I think maybe my explanation is not clear. Makeup we can classify as tahsiniyat things. So tahsiniyat is not permissible to do the rukhsah with tayammum. So makeup I think not the hajat. Or can be hajat, Irfan, Dr. Irfan? I don't think so. Maybe some condition with allergy so on, but the normal condition, the normal makeup, I think it's not a hajat or hajat maybe, but it's not. We can do the rukhsah for tayammum to stick to tayammum. Okay, maybe my
They should
explanation
be
is
using
clear. Yeah.
They should be using makeup which is easily removed lah for
Yeah. We have alternative, right? We have can makeup yang mudah tangan kan, iklan sebagainya. Kita guna yang ilmu lah. We have alternative. We have alternative.
Okay, second question. Assalamualaikum, Doctor Ustaz. I have a question. Just now you mentioned about patient with colostomy bag need to clean his feces before performing prayer, and anything come in after that, the prayer is valid. How about those who has urinary incontinence problem? For example, when they have urinary leakage, whenever they move their body to perform prayer, is the prayer valid?
I want maybe not to ask further. Mungkin Dr. Irfan will explain to me about the urinary incontinence problem.
I think this is under silsilatul baul because I don't think that this patient is using CBD. He's having silsilatul baul.
The continuous
talawas.
talawas. Okay.
Stress incontinence.
Okay, right. Kalau the patient have the tak lawas, mungkin tak lawas punya condition. So what we can do, we can balut the part that tempat keluar tadi. Then we need to we need to wait until the prayer time is enter, tunggu masuk waktu, and then lepas masuk waktu kita tutup sama ada kita nak balut ke, nak pakai pampers ke, pad sebagainya, and then we take the perform the wudu as soon as possible and do the prayer as soon as possible. Tu the best way lah, the best way. Otherwise kalau kita tak ada sebagainya, tak ada masalah tadi, macam contohnya kita tak ada orang nak tolong sebagainya, we go to the second tadi, jamak suri or jamak tamam. But in principle, the best with prayer time dah masuk, then balut, tutup the part yang mungkin mengeluarkan apa-apa saja, and then after this take the perform the wudu as soon as possible and perform the prayer as soon as possible. Whatever yang keluar within when we start to tutup sebagainya until finish the prayer is forgiven, semua dimaafkan.
But is it permissible to use the wudu for 2 solat or is it just valid for 1 solat?
Okay, good question. I think from Dr. Irfan this question. Okay, this question is khilaf. The ulama have the different opinion on this. Based if on Shafi'i, for Suratul Baul, this only valid for one prayer. But the other opinion for other scholars, for other mazhab, he can do it. He can do it even one wudu for 2 prayer, for jamak, for example, for jamak condition. This other. So I think we can. I think in hospital we not restrict to one mazhab. We can do the other if is more lenient for the patient. If patient need to want to the mazhab opinion, we can give. We can give. Okay, this mazhab Syafi'i, you can do it.
Okay, Ustaz. Another question. For a patient who is bedbound, he's alert but bedbound, who has limited caretaker, with the limitation of helper lah. What is the best solution to perform solat? Is it jamak tamam with no qasar or jamak suri?
Okay. In this step, we need to go to jamak suri first, because jamak suri we perform the prayer on their time, but if the condition is we cannot tolerate with this condition, we unable to do it, then we go to the jamak tamam. So the step, the first is we perform the prayer based on their time at the beginning of the prayer time. This is the best one. The second, if can do it, we do the jamak sorry. If we can't do it, then after we go to the jamak tamam. This the sequence, the best sequence. So we need to see to look at case by case, because relative and so on. Maybe he can help the other relative. He can there's their work and so on. Okay, dah menjawab soalan.
Boleh.
Okay, baik. We have other question.
For the soft copy pamphlet that you shared, Ustaz, I think is it available in the internet, Ustaz?
I think I will share it again to the Dr. Saiful, and Dr. Saiful will disseminate to the all participants. Inshallah.
Okay. Another question. Maybe this is the best topic. They will ask a lot of questions because this is all about practical. Can we call it talfiq? Selectively took different mazhab. So talfiq.
Okay. I think very good question. I think to explain this question, we need to another lecture. Very long. How the principle. But in some
in
general, we can do select the different mazhab opinion, but we have some guideline. One of the guideline, we not take the another mazhab just for enjoyment, for example. For take for granted, for example. Untuk ambil mudah, semua orang kata tak boleh mudah, tapi for the medicine issue is different from the normal condition patient. Normal condition person lain. Nak mudah contohnya contoh, tapi benda ni dia kena tengok, tapi in medicine dia untuk mudah memang itu adalah tujuan agama. But for enjoyment, nak mengelak contohnya, ataupun disebut kita nak lari pada hukum qadi contohnya. Contoh dia example yang paling mudah selalunya, contohnya for the marriage, contohnya dalam mazhab Hanafi tak perlu pada wali, contoh mazhab Maliki tak perlu pada tu. So itu the Maliki, the Hanafi, so lah kali kahwin tak perlu wali, tak perlu saksi, kahwin saja. So tak boleh dia ambil begitu. For sake of the nafsu dia. Sorry. Tapi untuk yang in the medicine, kita not for the sake of nafsu, sake kita nak tujuan kita apa? Kita nak all the patient can perform the prayer. So far tak ada, kecuali lah memang kita mengelak. Sebab kita kena mengelak. Tujuan kita nak memudahkan. Mudahkan dah boleh seramai mungkin solat. Sebab the most common, ataupun kata survey tanya patient, mungkin about half and more or less than half patient do the prayer when at the work. So very sadly, this real situation. So we need to help them to give the alternative, the flexibility of Islam. So then they feel that we can do it even in illness patient, in dying condition and so on.
Understood, sir. Jazakallah khairul jazak to Ustaz Abdul Rahman for the lectures and also the answer given for all the questions we asked in the chat box. So thank you again, Ustaz Abdul Rahman, for your lectures. I think this is the part that most of our participants would like to ask a question, but unfortunately we have a very limited time and we have to give a rest for our participants in the lectures before we continue our lecture about 11:15. So we'll break for a while.